681-837-4900. Now, here's John Paul, the Car Doctor.
And good Sunday morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD. My name's John Paul, the Car Doctor, here to help you with your car problems on this Sunday morning, or if you're listening, I don't know, on the internet somewhere where it's yesterday or tomorrow, however that works. You can always send me an email at jpaul@aaanortheast.com. I respond to every single email I get that has something to do with cars. Or car stuff, or technology, but no politics, no ask for donations, no emails that say I've inherited $52 billion, just give them my checking account. Jesse did that once, it didn't work out for him. But anyway, the Car Doctor program is here, and actually next Saturday, WATD will be at the Plymouth Festival, Seaside Festival, and I will be there sometime before 4 o'clock. I'll be there the last hour or so, help kind of clean things up a little bit, help Rob take down the tent. And but if you're in the neighborhood, if you're in Plymouth, if you're at the festival, stop on by and see us. WATD will be there all day long, broadcasting live some of the shows, and the rest of the time people will just be at the booths ready to say hello to you. With us on the phone is Matt Pita. I've known Matt for a lot of years now. Matt was a radio guy for a long time. Makes him sound really old. He's not. But I've known Matt for a long time. And first off, Matt, before we get going about what we're going to talk about, I want to thank you for inviting me to the Father's Day Car Show in Hyannis, the 2 nights before the show, I guess, as a guest speaker. Great fun, good crowd, had a really good time, and thank you for that.
Well, John, of course, our pleasure, and you were a big hit with our colleague Bill Stevens from Meekum Auto Auctions for the annual Greater Highness Chamber of Commerce Father's Day Car Show. It was one of our biggest shows ever that Sunday, over 350 cars on the street, and we estimate about 35,000 people came out on Sunday, and you were a big part of kicking it off. And we had great conversations, and we'll definitely be having you back for more of these discussions. It was a great time there, so we appreciate it.
It really was, and it's great to see car people. It's great to talk with car people. It's always fun, and it's good to see the mix of car people. And one of the things I enjoy about the Father's Day Car Show is the diversity of the people that are there. There's young kids that like cars. There's teenagers that fall in love with cars. There's, everybody thinks that, some, teenagers don't really have an interest in cars. Well, some of them really do, and some of them really appreciate it, and some know a lot about a particular make or model. So it's nice to know the hobby is still strong and doing everything it's supposed to do. I remember years ago spending some time with Terry Eric, who used to own Hemmings Motor News, and he always used to have a day, bring your kid to a car show, get them involved. And, whether it's, I was talking to Dave Smith down at Factory 5 one day, and he said, we have a lot of families that get together and build cars together as a family, dad and the son, dad and the daughter, dad and the son and daughter, put the car together, or in some cases, the kids put it together as a surprise gift for their father or something. And it's always good. It's always good to see, and it's good to see how that all works. But today we want to talk about something a little bit different, and that's the Seaside Lemans. And how long have you been involved with the Seaside Lemans?
So, John, I've been involved with Seaside Lemans even before I came to the Davenport Companies, which is the company that sponsors this event. I actually raced in Seaside Lemans when I was in radio. We were one of the company I was working for. We were one of the radio sponsors of the race. So I got to race, and it was amazing. So what it is we have F1 style karts that we race in Mashpee Commons. And so, think about, they're not open anymore, but a lot of your listeners may remember F1 up in Braintree. There's now a new facility, Supercharged, over in Foxborough, and then there's a new facility, R1, over in Rhode Island. And so it's the F1 style kart races. And what we do is, this is all for charity. The Seaside Lemans, John, started 24 years ago. We are in our 24th year of this, and the event has raised just under $10 million total for nonprofits. We raise money for different nonprofits across the Cape and the island every single year, and we pick 4 to 5 new ones every year. Every single dollar that we collect from our sponsors goes right to the charities, and that's a huge event. So what we're doing is raising money for organizations on the Cape that are having an immediate and direct impact on the lives of people on Cape Cod and the greater Plymouth area as well. And we raise all the money through sponsors. So companies, individuals, you can buy an entire cart sponsorship and race the entire race. You can buy a seat on another team. John, it's a 4-hour endurance race. People jump into these carts, and for 4 hours, they race through Mashpee Commons. We take over half the parking lot in Mashpee Commons, and we race these F1-style carts, John, through the parking lot at Mashpee Commons. Can you believe that?
I do, and I haven't been for a few years because of scheduling, but I remember going a few years back, and a neighbor of mine was one of the drivers, and a friend of his, the company he worked for, was one of the sponsors, and they went out and raced, and it was, first off, the way it's set up is very Le Mans F1 kind of thing, where in the full-size cars, it's kind of racing through city streets. This is sort of like racing through city streets in a third scale because you're racing through Mashpee Commons.
Absolutely. It's so exciting. People, who have not done it before, I mean, this is legit. We put you into a fire suit and a helmet because you're cranking through the streets of Mashpee Commons there. So, this is a full-blown F1 style event. And again, people have so much fun. They say, how do I get involved in this? And, there are multiple ways. You can be an individual driver. You can get your company to sponsor a team. It has become a really great team-building exercise. A lot of companies get involved, and it's a great summer team-building exercise for them. It's going to take place this year on the 6th of September, Saturday right after Labor Day, and right in the parking lot at Mashpee Commons. There's still time if you'd like to become a sponsor, if you'd like to inquire about being a driver. And if not, John, we invite you and all your listeners across the South Shore and the Cape to come on down to Mashpee Commons. It's open. The event is free to the public. So if you want to be a spectator, it's free to the public. We have food and children's activities and games and just a whole bunch of great activities that are going on throughout the entire event on September 6th. So we're really looking forward to a big event.
And it's really interesting, at least when I was there, the different teams. It could be that, somebody from, I'm looking at the current sponsor list now. Somebody from Shepley is there, and they did it just as a fun team building kind of thing. And then there was other teams that showed up with their own fire suits and their own easy ups. But because the carts are all similar, it's very competitive. You don't need to be the hottest driver in the world to have fun and win, in fact.
Agreed. And we have the way we organize the races. We tell people it's not about how fast you go, right? The key to the race, John, is not having the fastest lap. It's the cleanest lap, because you get penalties just like you would in regular racing, things like that. If you bang into one of the barriers, if you push somebody off the track, right, you get penalties. So it's the cleanest lap. And what that does, that becomes really the equalizer for the race, because it's not just people that are ripping around the parking lot and that track that we built, to do it as fast as they can. It's the cleanest lap, and that makes it so much fun. So, it's such a great time. I raced in it, as I said, and there was nothing like it. I'm telling you. You are about 2 inches off the ground, and you're ripping through this track. And, it's just an amazing event, and it's all for great charities. And, again, all the money we're raising this year goes to the 5 Cape Cod charities that we have. And if I can, John, I'll just tell you the 5 that they are.
Yeah,
so people
absolutely.
May be interested in that. Yeah. Cape Cod Healthcare, which, of course, is one of our beneficiaries on a regular basis. The Cape Cod Theater Company, Hollywood Junior Theater, which is doing some great things for youth theater on Cape Cod. Cape Kid Meals, which provides free meals for children year-round who are in need. Fishing for the Mission 22 is a brand new one, John, and we're really excited to have this group. It's if you read up on this group, it's very emotional. Fishing for the Mission 22.
What was the group again? We kind of lost you there for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Fishing for the Mission 22.
Okay.
So Fishing for the Mission 22 raises awareness and assists local veterans on the Cape and South Shore who are really struggling mentally, John, when they come back from service. And this statistic is just heart-wrenching. The reason they call themselves Fishing for the Mission 22 is that 22 veterans around our country commit suicide on a daily basis, and it's just devastating. So, it's something that this group is really working hard to get rid of. And then College Supporting Parents, which is based on the Upper Cape and over by the Wareham, Plymouth area, and they are working with people, parents and family members who are trying to support other family members who are working through addiction issues. So 5 great sponsors this year. If you're interested in learning any about them, information about all of them is at seasidelemans.org. And again, what we really like to impress upon people is that 100% of all the money we raise goes right to the charities, because the Davenport companies, led by our CEO, DeWitt Davenport, DeWitt writes a check and pays personally for the entire cost of the race. So every single dollar we raise goes right to the charities.
And for people who haven't seen it, or maybe haven't seen a video of it, I mean, you have a start-finish arch. It's very realistic, I guess.
Oh yeah.
To the F1 style.
Yeah, it's like almost being at Le Mans, right? except you're in Mashpee Commons. One thing I like to do, I MC the race and doing the announcing throughout, and I like to get myself pumped up ahead, right? So I'll usually a couple days before I'll watch Ford versus Ferrari, right? Just to kind of get into the mode of Le Mans, and so it's just such an exciting race, and I want to race again, but I can't because now I am busy working the entire race, so I'm trying to let them take one of the carts out.
And for people who've never done it before, the way the race is set up, is it still the same way? Is it a bunch of laps and then you stop and then there's that team moves on? Is that how's the individual part work?
The way it works is teams do have to break because the carts obviously will not go 4 hours without refuel. Right. So we have refueling going on throughout the race, and you have to switch out your team members. You can't have the same person racing for 4 hours. You literally would not be able to do it. Some people think, oh, that's no big deal. I can definitely make it, for 4 hours. And 15 minutes in, what we do is we put a 15-minute limit on. So you're in the cart for 15 minutes, and then you have to rotate out. But the cart itself, your team cart, is going nonstop for the 4 hours, except when you're fueling up. So that's the way we roll it now, and we rotate the team members. So each team has a minimum of 6 members, and they're in the cart rotating every 15 minutes. So you're getting a lot of driver time, a lot of seat time between the beginning of the race and the end.
And I got to tell you, 15 minutes in a go-kart is exhausting.
I know. You don't realize it until you're behind it. Again, you're ripping around that track at Mashpee Commons, and you've got gloves on and you've got the fire suit and everything, and so 15 minutes in, a lot of times people will come in after 2 runs around. They'll do 15 minutes. They'll come back in about 45 minutes later, and like I need a break. Like you got to keep them hydrated and everything. So, but they have such a great time, and everyone's out there, working hard for these charities every year. It's just such a great event.
And these are newer carts too, right?
Yes, we bought new carts actually just a couple of years ago. So originally we were in partnership with F1 for years, and then F1, after COVID, F1 really didn't come back. So we actually purchased all the assets of F1, but then we looked at the carts and we ended up buying new carts to upgrade. So we've got the latest in kart technology, and we get new tires on them pretty much every year. And as you know, John, these are sticky tires, man.
Yep.
These you can take it going to that turn at nearly full speed, and really rip around that track. So top quality carts. So we have a great team working throughout, and it's just such an amazing time. And so many people come out just to watch. And we have a bridge that we actually build over the track. So if you'd like to, you can walk up on top of the bridge and watch the cars go underneath. And there's a lot of excitement going on throughout the whole race.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at some of the current local sponsors, and it's whether it's EF Winslow or Cape Cod 5 or S&J Exo or Shepley or Cape Cod Healthcare. You have a great group of sponsors here. And is there still time? Are there sponsorships available still?
So yes, we have multiple ways to get involved. If you're interested in actually driving, you can do an individual driver sponsorship. So if you as just an individual or if your company wants to sponsor one driver, you can do that. You can do a half cart, and you can also do up to a whole cart. And some companies like to do the entire cart, so they fill the team with all of their employees. And then I haven't looked yet to see which companies are doing what with their teams yet, John, but we have some amazing companies that actually buy the full cart sponsorship, and then they donate all 6 seats to law enforcement. And, we are such supporters of our men and women in law enforcement, and so they will donate all their seats to a local fire department or a local police department, so those men and women get a chance to take a break and have fun with us at the Seaside Lemans.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time. And the idea for sponsors, I mean, you let's pick any company. They may have vendors they deal with, so they can go to the individual vendors and say, hey, look, we're doing this thing and we want some help with it. Can you help us? And all of a sudden it takes a little bit of the edge off the cost of being a sponsor, because you're all of a sudden working with, whether it's, you own a convenience store and you're working with, whoever distributes, Lay's potato chips or, soda or something. You might be able to get sponsors that way. So it's not, at first it may seem a little overwhelming to be a sponsor, but sometimes with a little bit of creative work, you can do a pretty good job.
You make a great point, and some companies do that. So as you're pointing out, if you're a company listening and you've got, like you said, John, some vendors that you work with, you can share the cost. And if you do that, we're going to give all of the companies who are involved all the promotional backing as well. So you get to be mentioned as a sponsor in all of our social media and our paid advertising and a day of race, et cetera. So you definitely will get a promotional benefit out of it as well. So that's a great idea. And any companies that are interested in doing that, all you have to do is reach out to us at seasidelemans.org. And if it's okay, John, people can reach me directly, and I can give them my direct office line if they're interested.
Sure.
And they got, so if you, sometimes, especially because we're getting closer to the race, if you want to talk to me right away, 508-760-9266, 508-760-9266. That's our direct line into our office at the Davenport Companies, which sponsors the race. So, we've got a great time coming up, and it's coming up on us quickly.
Yeah, it's hard to believe we're starting to wind down to the unofficial end of summer, but it's happening. And like a lot of races, sometimes there's volunteer opportunities. Is there volunteer opportunities for the Seaside Lemans?
Absolutely. We have a whole day of volunteer opportunities available, actually starting at 5 a.m. and ending at 4 p.m. And you can come for an hour, 2 hours, however much you'd like to donate. We have people who can man our vending booths to sell our T-shirts, to help with some of our food sales. We also have people who are volunteering to be on the outside of the track. So if you're looking for a little bit of excitement as a volunteer, we have people who are waving the flags and making sure the track is safe and monitored. So again, you can reach out to us through seasidelemans.org or the number I gave you, me directly, and we'll get you set up for volunteering as well. So there are multiple volunteering opportunities, and as much or as little as you want. From an hour, if you want to be with us the whole day and enjoy the day, you can do that as well.
Give out your phone number one more time, because you're a radio guy and you always do it twice. So yeah. I know,
right? So first of all, our website is seasidelemans.org, and if you need to reach me directly over the next couple of days before the race, it's 508-760-9266, 508-760-9266, and we'd love to see you all down there, even if you don't sponsor. We'd love to see you down there as a spectator on September 6th. We're looking forward to it.
Matt, always a pleasure talking to you. We'll see if we can get down there and watch it. Yeah. And like you pointed out, Mashpee Commons is open too. So come down, watch the race, do a little shopping, go find something to eat. Great place.
Right. Now, John, a quick question for you. I'm so excited to continue listening. You're going to talk about the Crown today, I see, right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
So I'm fascinated. I don't want you to have to give it away before you talk to all the listeners about it, but I've just been watching a bunch of them drive around. I'm kind of fascinated. I'm like, wow, I think Toyota really hit it with this sedan. There's so few really good-looking sedans anymore. So I'm looking for. Is it a thumbs up or thumbs down? Or
it's pretty. It's there's not too many mistakes Toyota makes.
Right.
And this happens to be the Crown Signia. So this one's a little bit different because. Okay. Toyota wants to call it an SUV. It's really a station wagon, and I love station wagons, and it's one of those things. It's one of those things that you're not sitting up high, you're not sitting down low like a sedan. You're somewhere in between, and a lot of people thought Toyota discontinued the Avalon and came out with the Crown as a replacement. That's not really true. This is the Crown. I mean, the Crown has a pretty legendary name in Japan. You don't buy a Lexus in Japan. You buy a Toyota Crown, and that's sort of the top of the line sort of model. So, it's a fun car. So,
all right, we're looking forward to that.
All right.
But again, thank you so much for Seaside Lemans, seasidelemans.org, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more about the Crown coming up.
There you go. All right, thanks, Matt. Take care.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Why don't we take a break, pay some bills? If you would like to join us, our phone number is 781-837-4900. When we come back, we are going to talk about the Toyota Crown Signia. When we come back next week, we have Brian Loans is going to be joining us. Brian Loans, NHRA drag race announcer on Fox Sports, and I need to talk to him about his dad too. Apparently his dad just won a drag racing, won a Wally, so I have to find out what that's all about. And Brian also does some great YouTube videos and podcasts on the most obscure racing stuff and some really odd stuff. He does a really good job. Usually does most of them in the off season, but does a good job. And want to talk about who some of the folks are in the booth with him. I think David Freiberger from Roadkill is now with him in the booth or doing some track commentary. Want to know how all that dynamic's going. Brian, good guy, lives in my former town of Abington. And always great to talk to him. Why don't we take a break, pay some bills? Our phone number again, 781-837-4900. We'll be right back.
It's the Brockton Rocks revival season. Enjoy professional baseball right here in the South Shore all summer long. 2 for Tuesdays, We Care Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Rocks and Roll Fridays, and Saturday night fireworks. Don't forget Sunday Family Fun Day. One kid gets in free for every ticket purchased. Kids eat for free and post-game autographs. Kids run the bases after every game. Wicked fun baseball at wicked good prices. Pro Ball is back in Brockton at Campanelli Stadium. Get your tickets today at BrocktonRocks.com.
You are tuned into the Car Doctor here on 95.9 FM. Today it's brought to you by Bethany Builders. Don't move out, build out. In-law suites, new garage. Grow your home with the award-winning, fully licensed and insured Bethany Builders. Get your free estimate today. Visit BethanyBuilders.com.
Hello, Chris Bethany of Bethany Builders here. Are you considering an upcoming home improvement project? A home addition, that new garage with bonus room, or an in-law suite for your parents? If so, then let's go. From design to job completion, Bethany Builders has got you covered. Our goal is to keep your project moving forward, on time and on budget. Bethany Builders provides free estimates. We are fully licensed, registered, and insured. Call Bethany Builders today at 781-898-8018. Find us on the web at BethanyBuilders.com and on Facebook.
Even car geeks and do-it-yourselfers rely on AAA to give them extra peace of mind on the road. AAA offers 24/7 roadside assistance, whether you're in your own vehicle, a friend's car, or even a rental. Combine that with great rates on insurance, hotel, gas, and dining savings, and discounts on 8,700 brands, and you're covered on and off the road. Get a special membership offer today at AAA.com/join. That's AAA.com/join.
Oh no, someone ran a shopping cart into my car when I left it unattended.
Auto Shine Auto Body. You bend it, they mend it.
My kid didn't see that giant telephone pole when he opened the door. Now look at it. How splendid.
Auto Shine Auto Body. You bend it, they mend it.
The chucklehead behind me was texting and driving, and now I'm rear-ended.
Auto Shine Auto Body. You bend it, they mend it.
I don't even know how this happened, but look, my bumper's dented.
Auto Shine Auto Body. You bend it, they mend it.
Your buddy just had a great experience fixing his car. Who was that he recommended?
Auto Shine Auto Body. You bend it, they mend it. For over 20 years, Auto Shine Auto Body has been providing friendly, fast, professional, and affordable services you can count on. Auto Shine Auto Body is a gold-certified auto body shop with locations in Abington and Braintree. Whether you're using your insurance company or paying out of pocket, Auto Shine Auto Body will work with you. Find them online at AutoshineAutoBody.com. Auto Shine Auto Body. You bend it, they mend it.
Hey there, folks. It's Quinn Kelly reminding you to tune in Sunday night at 5 for the South Shore's first voice in sports talk radio, The Sports Exchange. Unmatched coverage of local high school action as well as a relatable voice on all things Boston Pro Sports. We've got you covered live at 5 every Sunday night. Have a question for our host, missed last week's show, or just want to share a great sports story? You can find us on Twitter at SE on WATD. But remember, mark your calendar, folks, and we'll see you Sunday night at 5 for the Sports Exchange on 95.9 WATD.
Make an appointment Sunday morning at 11 for John Paul, the Car Doctor, on 95.9 WATD. Now, back to the Car Doctor.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD. Our phone number is 781-837-4900. Yes, the Toyota Crown Signia. The Toyota Crown Signia is the latest addition of Toyota's premium lineup in the United States. Yeah, you don't buy a Lexus in Japan. You buy a Crown. So it's a hybrid-powered. Toyota calls it an SUV, but I'm still calling it a station wagon. And I'm saying that because in the last few days, I've parked next to things like a Volvo V70. I parked next to a Mercedes E-Class wagon. And although this is slightly higher than that, not by much, and last night, I went out to dinner with Bob Bosworth from the Quincy Sun and his wife, and I drove because the place we went to had pretty limited parking, so rather than go in two cars, I drove to his house and whatever. But I parked next to an SUV and went, no, it's not an SUV. It's a station wagon. So I'm calling it a station wagon. I don't care what Toyota calls it. It's a spin-off of the Toyota Crown sedan. Like Matt Pita, I like sedans too, and there aren't many sedans to choose from anymore. In fact, I just got an email from somebody who's looking to buy. Their dream car is a 2019 Buick LaCrosse, I think they said. And I was kind of going back, and I said, if I was going to buy a Buick, and they have a later model Buick, an SUV, but looking at Buicks is kind of funny. I said to him, I'd buy like a 1985 or 86, preferably Buick LeSabre. Try to find one that came from the South or the West, low mileage, 3.8 liter V6, pretty bulletproof anyway, but that's what I would buy. And and again, I like sedans too. I like SUVs for the practicality. I like station wagons because they're kind of sedans and they're kind of SUVs, but then neither of those. But the Crown Signia stands out with its bold styling. It's got kind of a SUV silhouette. They call it a coupe silhouette. Again, I think it's more of a wagon. It does have a sloping rear roof line. It's got sharp LED lighting. It's got headlights that you would go, are those really the headlights? They work well. They're not blinding. In fact, I mistakenly last night drove a bit with the high beams on. Nobody even noticed. They're not blinding headlights. They're just good headlights. When I put them down a low beam, very good. It has a large non-opening moonroof, which gives it a nice premium look. It's got a wide stance to it. It's a good-looking car. And this has this two-tone leather interior. Real nice soft touch, surfaces inside. To me, like I said, it compares pretty nicely to an E-Class wagon or Volvo V70, which they're discontinuing. They're only going to come out with their SUVs now. BMW 5 Series wagon. Again, I'm having trouble calling the Crown an SUV. Slightly more of a tall wagon. Easy to get in and out of. Comfortable seats. Bob Bosworth is probably 6'2". He was in the front seat. The front seat was still moved up a little bit from my wife was sitting there. He was pretty comfortable looking, enough headroom. Rear seat headroom's a little bit limited due to the sloping roof design. Pretty spacious cargo area, 66 cubic feet with the seats folded. I went to Lowe's and Home Depot this week, had to pick up a big box. Unlike an SUV that has a taller roof, I had to lay the box on the sides, no issue. But again, tons of interior room, no problem. Under the hood, you'll find a 2.5-liter hybrid engine. It delivers a combined 243 horsepower, so plenty of horsepower. Fuel economy, according to the EPA, is 36 miles per gallon combined. I'm seeing close to 40. So really good fuel economy. Most of my driving has been around town, not all of it, but most of it's been around town. But again, 40 miles per gallon in a pretty good-sized car. I think a total driving range over 500 miles, so pretty impressive. One of the things I like about a hybrid system is the transition between gas and electric. People hate auto stop, so when you come to a light, the engine shuts off. Everybody's shutting the switch off. With a hybrid, what's kind of nice, and this is not a plug-in hybrid, it's a regular hybrid. What's kind of nice is the gasoline engine stops, but the electric engine, when you go to accelerate, the electric motor kicks in, and then seamlessly the gas engine kicks in. So there's no hesitation at all. In fact, if anything, there is a little bit more torque when you go to take off. So really nice. It's got all the safety stuff, all the modern technology, 12-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, digital gauge cluster. It's also like 12 inches. It's got Toyota's safety sense, so lane keeping assist and automatic emergency braking, all kinds of sensors in it that tells you, don't pull out yet because somebody's coming down the street, don't back up yet. It will apply the brakes backing up if it thinks there's something in the way, as well as automatic emergency braking going forward. Available, heated and ventilated seats. This was a top of the line model. It had everything in it: the panoramic sunroof, the ventilated seats, the premium JBL audio system. Pricing around $44 for the base XLE. It goes up to $48 for the limited. This positions it pretty close to a luxury SUV, but to me, it is a luxury wagon. I think it's a good choice for people who want fuel-efficient hybrid SUV, Toyota's reliability, a premium interior without truly a premium price tag, and maybe you don't want to drive around as something that's a BMW or a Volvo or a Mercedes. You want something a little more lower key. It's a good car. It's easy to park. It's easy to drive. It's stylish. It's got practical cargo spaces. It's a great addition to Toyota's lineup. My one nit to pick, if that's how you say it, I guess, is I would like to see a spare tire, but not much more. Kind of liked everything in the car. It was one of those cars that I'm like, if they left it here, I would keep it, no questions whatsoever. So there you go. Toyota Crown review. And again, you'll find all of our reviews on the podcast page, so you can always find the Car Doctor podcast. Jesse tells me we have Jim in North Reading on the phone joining us, and if you want to join us, 781-837-4900. Jim.
Hi, John. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. I liked if they left the car, you would keep it. I like that part.
Well, it was funny. I was at a car show yesterday afternoon, and they gave out a trophy that I've never heard of before, and the trophy was the car most likely to get stopped by the police.
That was it?
Well, I'm like, well, they gave out a bunch of trophies, President's Trophy, this trophy, that, but they had one trophy that's like most likely to get a ticket on the way home or something like that, and it was in a pretty chopped, probably mid-30s car. It was running open exhaust, although it was pretty quiet. Had great big tires on it, no fenders. I could see how it would get stopped on the way home, but it was very well done, though. I'll have to admit. So I like little quirks like that. So yeah.
Oh, I have that 2014 Sentra that transmission went on it a few years ago, and I eventually had it replaced. I decided not to do it myself, but now I have a fob problem with it. Will not open the doors. I have to physically touch the fob to the button to start the car, and I have to do it 2 or 3 times, and eventually it will start. The battery in the car was around 12.31 when I tested it, so I replaced it with another used one from another car that was 12.7.
Mm-hmm.
The batteries and the fob were and this was two different fobs. They're both good, but I put new batteries in them. They're 3.31 now. And everything I see says all these different things could be wrong, but they say, well, check the batteries in this, and I'm not sure where to go from here.
Yeah, what you describe is absolutely a weak key fob battery, but it could be for whatever reason. Maybe the fobs are just going bad. I mean, that's kind of an odd one, but and I like that you tested the fob voltage, because a lot of people who do check it go, oh, the button battery in there is 3 volts, so it's okay. Unfortunately, when a button battery is 3 volts, it's about worn out, even though it's supposed to be a 3-volt battery, because they're all like 3.3, 3.4 when they're new. The idea that you have to touch the fob to the start button is just like it's not transmitting enough, and there is an outside antenna. Everything runs through the body control module. You may need to. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. There's a signal tool that I think Nissan has. I know others use it, and it checks to see whether the intelligent key and the vehicle antenna are doing its jobs the way they should. And it might be that, but the key fob voltage has got to be, like you said, it's 3.3 volts, so that's fine. The only thing, and maybe your voltmeter's lying to you, which is, I guess, a possibility.
It's brand new. I just got it about a week ago because I found my old one.
Okay. Because it's funny, I took a voltmeter out of the box, I don't know, sometime over the winter, and I checked it, and it was off like half a volt. And I'm like, huh. So I checked it with another voltmeter, an older one, and I'm like, no, and I'm making up the number, 12 volts, and this was showing 11 and a half or 12 and a half or whatever it was. And then I had an old, this is how old it was, had an old Radio Shack analog meter. And I'm like, well, let's see if this thing still works. And I looked, and it was exactly the same as the digital one, and the other new one out of the box was off by half a volt. So, could it be a bad antenna? It could be.
This is two individual fobs. Yep. One got used all the time. One didn't get used very often. And it won't work the doors either. The door, the trunk, the panic button.
I say. Well, I guess I would have to, kind of look at this and say, well, what can cause it? What can cause this not to work? And if the fobs are transmitting, then it's not the fob. And some auto parts stores have a little tester at the counter, and you can check to see that the fobs are transmitting properly. Might be worth trying to check that.
I took them apart and wiped them down with rubbing alcohol, with Q-tips, and cleaned them.
And can fobs go bad? Yeah, they can. I remember my wife's car a couple cars ago. One of the fob just went bad. It would work sometimes and not other times. And she's like, I have to open the door with the key because it won't work. And once I get inside, it seems like it's okay. And then, the other possibility somewhere, you said you changed the car battery. The other possibility somewhere is voltage drop on the battery. So it would be worth, checking to see whether the connections, the ground and power connections for the battery wherever they terminate inside the car, on the engine, somewhere along the line there, are clean and shiny and cables look all good because, like you said, one of the things you discovered when you went to look at this is maybe a bad 12-volt battery. Well, if you replaced it with another battery and still did it, it could be that the body control module just isn't getting the proper voltage to be able to power up the antenna and the actuators and all that stuff. So I would take your voltmeter and do a look for voltage drop across that negative cable and positive cable, and make sure you're getting full voltage and a good ground back to where they have to go.
The only thing I didn't do a load test, but that would only affect starting the car itself.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Not the fob.
That's what I thought.
But still, I've seen some of these things where, and all you can do is kind of look at it and kind of puzzle through wiring diagrams and stuff and try to see what's going on. But since everything revolves around the 12-volt battery, I would, before I condemned anything like the remote keyless entry receiver that's part of the body control module, I would want to make sure the voltage is going to every place is where they're supposed to be, and it might even be with a good scan tool sitting there and going, wait a minute, I got 12.7 volts in the battery, but I only have 11.8 volts at the body control. So I would want to be real fussy about looking at voltage drop in the electrical system to see if that's, see what's going on with it. Other than that, you've covered most of it. And again, now while we were talking and I was stumbling around my words here, I went to try to look this up to see what it says, and it says here, let's see, all vehicles with the newer intelligent key system, if the doors will not unlock using the intelligent key buttons, door request switch, before replacing any components, a review of the door lock unlock diagnostic items in this bulletin, follow the diagnostic steps in the service manual. The intelligent key lock and unlock functions are controlled by several components. Proper steps should be performed before replacing any part. The body control module is usually not the cause of any inoperative condition, which is usually the case. When testing the door unlock, set the ignition position to off, put the shift lever in park, intelligent key not inserted into the key slot if equipped. All doors are closed.
It doesn't have a key.
Yep. So that rules that out. It says intelligent key is outside the vehicle, less than 6 feet away from the request switch, which is in the door handle. Check for proper operation with the power door lock switch. Then it goes on to say, if the door will unlock and lock with the power door lock switch on the inside door panel, the actuator is okay and the wiring between the BCM is okay. And then it goes on to say, check signals from the intelligent key and the vehicle antenna. And then they do have a special tool that they call the Signal Tech 2, whatever that is. And it says follow the Signal Tech 2 instruction for key testing. And again, I think you can find key testers in some of the parts stores now, right at the counter. Basically, it's just a thing that reads the signal from the key and says it either works or it doesn't. And then it goes on to talk about, proper battery test procedures. The battery voltage should be above 3 volts. If not, put a new one in. And then it says if there's no signal or low signal from the outside antenna, check the antenna. Then it goes on to say that the device will be able to check the door request switch. And it goes on to it has a little diagram of, of the keyless entry receiver, door lock actuators, the key buzzer, and each request switch and the inside key antenna and the outside key antenna. So the idea that neither the outside antenna or the let's think about this for a minute. It's the outside antenna is going to unlock the doors. So we already know that's not working right. the inside antenna is not working right because you have to press the fob up against the button to get it to work. So that's either telling us that the fob isn't transmitting a strong enough signal, as if it had a dead battery, but maybe the fobs are just at the end of their life for whatever reason or another, or there's not enough power coming to the BCM to make these antennas be able to receive what they need to receive. So I'd go back to, I want to check voltage. That's the thing I'd be looking at first.
I do have a fancy scan tool that when I go to program in the keys, there are so many different functions. I don't know what they mean. One of them says to erase it, and I'm afraid to erase it and start again and then not have the car start at all.
Right.
I'm not sure how the erase works.
Yeah. So, I would do it as if you're duplicating a key rather than starting over again.
Okay.
And that's some of them have that function. So, but again, since you have a fancy scan tool, I would look and see what the battery voltage is at the various components to see if you have a voltage drop issue.
I have to learn how to do that, but I'll give that a shot.
All right.
The thing is so confusing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was watching something last night, and the person said, I'm not the best mechanic in the world. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I tend to read and comprehend pretty well. And he said, just guessing at things, you're never going to get a good answer sometimes. And you have to kind of sit down with diagrams and service information to come up with an answer. And this is one of those cases where service information and voltage checks are going to be the thing that really get you through the trouble areas. So
quickly, can I put on 16-inch wheels on this car? That's what the junkyard had for this 2014 Sentra. And what's on it is 17.
Yeah, you should be able to do it. What I would try to do though is, be able to look at the size comparison to make sure at the end of the day you still have the same overall tire height.
Tire height, okay.
Yeah. So you're not going to put the same, and I'm making up numbers here. You're not going to put 195 70 16s on, and you're not going to put 195 70 15s on the 15-inch wheels or 16-inch wheels, or you want to look at overall tire height, because you don't want to change by going to a smaller diameter wheel. You want a higher sidewall in the tire, so the overall height of the car stays the same.
Okay, gotcha.
Because
Thank
if you
you
put
so much,
if you put a smaller sidewall tire on a smaller wheel, all of a sudden now your speedometer is going to be all out of whack, and that can affect things like anti-lock brakes and stuff too. So
got it. Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate all you've done. Thank you so much.
All right.
Love
Thanks,
the
Jim.
show.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Why don't we take another break, pay some bills? If you would like to join us like Jim just did, give us a call at 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900. You're listening to the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD. We'll be right back.
Even car geeks and do-it-yourselfers rely on AAA to give them extra peace of mind on the road. AAA offers 24/7 roadside assistance, whether you're in your own vehicle, a friend's car, or even a rental. Combine that with great rates on insurance, hotel, gas, and dining savings, and discounts on 8,700 brands, and you're covered on and off the road. Get a special membership offer today at AAA.com/join. That's AAA.com/join.
Hi there, it's Paul Kabillion from Kabillions Car Care at 104 Mattakesa Street in Pembroke. Vacation season is here, and the time to take care of your car is now, before those road trips. Kabillions is always here to make sure you're road ready. To schedule an appointment, call 781-834-6558. Find us at 104 Mattakesa Street in Pembroke, or find us online at KabillionsCarCare.com.
Thanks a million, Mr. Kabillion!
I'm Tiny of Tiny & Sons Glass. My boys do a good job. Here's why. When they were kids, every summer we'd go to the automotive graveyard and take cars apart. windshields, transmissions, generators. Then comes the fun part, putting it all back together. It was summer camp at the junkyard, and it worked. They're good boys. You can trust them.
My dad did a great job. 1-888-64-TINY. Just call.
It's the Brockton Rocks revival season. Enjoy professional baseball right here in the South Shore all summer long. 2 for Tuesdays, week air Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, Rocks and Roll Fridays, and Saturday night fireworks. Don't forget Sunday Family Fun Day. One kid gets in free for every ticket purchased. Kids eat for free and post-game autographs. Kids run the bases after every game. Wicked fun baseball at wicked good prices. Pro Ball is back in Brockton at Campanelli Stadium. Get your tickets today at BrocktonRocks.com.
You let that mountain reach high. You let that river run wild.
Hi, this is Jeff Neely.
And this is Joe Clapp.
And I'm Stephen Davis.
We're Humble Roots. Tune into Twilight Showcase Radio.
Hosted by Sandy Stride and Keith James.
On 95.9 WATD and 95.9WATD.com.
And of course, visit twilightshowcase.org.
Twilight Showcase. Tonight from 8 to 10 on 95.9 WATD. Honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. He's John Paul, the Car Doctor, on 95.9 WATD.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program on 95.9 WATD. Well, 2 weekends ago, I guess, my nephew and his wife went on an anniversary cruise. And they brought we had their 3 daughters for a bit, for 4 days, I guess. And the oldest one, who's 16, said, Uncle John, can we go to a car museum? And I kind of wondered who she really was at that point. But probably the place where I should have gone, that she probably would have really enjoyed, is the Heritage Gardens and Museum. It used to be called the Heritage Plantation, but I guess you can't say that anymore. But it's the Heritage Gardens. And they have a round shaker barn that is like a museum inside. It is a museum, but it's like a really fancy museum inside. And the cars are stunning. They have like a little workshop area out back. Years ago, I actually did a talk to the folks at the museum. And the last time I was there, which was a few years ago, I was kind of wandering towards the back, and I said to the person I was with, there used to be a little hall where they did talks out back here, and that's where I met Eli Lilly, who's one of the big benefactors of the Heritage Museum, and I said, yeah, they used to even have a plaque with my name on it. And I went looking, and there was a couple guys out back working on one of the cars, and I said, and they're like, can we help you with something? I said, yeah, you used to have a plaque. You used to have plaques up here about people that came to talk. And I said, I was one of those people. And they go, we took them all down. They're in a box right now. So, but it was Sunday afternoon. It was after the radio show. I'm like, I don't really want to drive up to Sandwich, get stuck in traffic. So I said to my nephew's wife, how about we go to something called Toad Hall. And Toad Hall is in Hyannis, and it's a private collection of, I don't know, about 40 cars. And at one time, the owner had about 70 cars. And what's interesting, they were, it's Toad Hall in the Simmons Homestead. It was a bed and breakfast. Now it's kind of housing for workers who work on the Cape. But in Toad Hall, in the hall, is a bunch of cars. They're all red. They used to be all red and one green one, but they don't have the green one anymore. He sold it. And I think he kind of started to run out of money, but he kept some of his favorites. And there's some really unique cars there. There's, MGTs and Triumphs and Austin Healey's. There's a couple of Lotuses, mostly English cars, but there is a couple of Datsuns and, my 16-year-old grandniece, I guess you would call her, never, what's a Datsun? And I said, you know what a Nissan is? She's like, yeah. I said, well, that's what they called them before they were Nissans. And there was a couple of 240Zs that he used to race at one point, and a 510 Coupe, which is a really fun little car. So the cars are somewhat tired looking. The building they're in is a little bit tired looking, but the owner is a character, a nice guy. So if you're in the Toad Hall, if you're in the Hyannis area, and you got $10 in your pocket, go to Toad Hall, look at the cars, look at some of the stuff he has around there. It's a fun way to spend $10. You can look at the cars. I don't think he has any problem with you kind of really taking a really good look at them. Bring your camera along, take some pictures. The cars are interesting. There's some cars you'll probably never see before, and they're kind of fun ones. Kind of fun ones to see. My niece had never seen a Lotus before, so she was fascinated by that. I said, yeah. I said, in a James Bond movie, there was a Lotus that actually went underwater, and then I had to explain to her who James Bond was.
Before we run out of time, we do have Tom in Weymouth.
Oh, we do? How come it didn't pop up in Messenger?
Because we're running out of time here, and I want to just talk to you a little bit, you know?
All right, there you go.
Yeah,
okay,
Tom,
well, use up all the time now.
Why
All
not?
right, good. All right, go ahead.
Good morning, John. This is
Good
Chris.
morning.
Hey, John. So if the car's going to sit for 3 weeks or a little more, how's the sequence to start it so the battery won't go dead? That's it. Quick.
I would I would try to put it on a battery tender or solar charger, something like that, if you can. But most good cars, if the battery is fully charged, will go a month without the battery going dead.
Okay.
It'll be a little iffy once it gets going, maybe. But you should be able to go 3 weeks. If you were going on a 3-week round-the-world cruise, you should be able to shut it off and come back in 3 weeks and start it up. And then what I'd do is I'd let it idle for a few minutes and then let it charge up. You know, it's not going to fully charge with the alternator, but it'll charge it up most of the way, and you should be fine.
Okay, so if I do it 2 weeks, I'm fine.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Fill the gas tank. Maybe put some gas stabilizer in it, and that's about it.
All righty, thank you.
All right,
Have a
sure
great
thing.
weekend.
All right, you
Bye-bye.
as well. Take care. Bye bye. We need to go away. That music means we're gone. But until next week, and stop over in Plymouth on Saturday and see us at the Plymouth Festival. We'll be there. And until next week, make sure you wear your seatbelt, drive carefully, and be good to your car. And if you do see an emergency vehicle by the side of the road, slow down or move over. It saves lives. Talk to you all next week. Bye bye.